Peggy, my name's John Hewlett. I'm the founder and formulator of Cardio Miracle. We believe it's the finest nitric oxide vitamin D3 supplement, or actually health food, in the world. We have 58 organic, plant-based, and other natural ingredients that create life-saving nitric oxide. And nitric oxide was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1998 for its impact on heart disease, cardiovascular problems, blood pressure, diabetes, and other related problems that people have with their health. Nitric oxide, many people have heard about the benefits of beets and how that can help with create nitric oxide. Well, we not only have beets, but we actually have amino acids, arginine, citrulline, ornithine, D-ribose, many amino acids that also have over 100,000 studies talking about the impact of safe delivered nitric oxide on cardiovascular health, improving diabetes, improving kidney function, improving sexual and intimacy with erectile dysfunction, and everything from neuropathy to now being prevention of dementia and Alzheimer's, which we're so excited with our latest study, which is in Combat Stress magazine in August of 2024, talked about the benefits specifically of Cardio Miracle and its ingredients on all neurological disease, and also in the prevention of Alzheimer's, dementia, and specifically in one of our other studies that was published, it talked about the benefits for those who would suffer perhaps from problems from the pandemic, long-haul COVID, and even those who perhaps were injured by some of the therapies that may have been around at the time. As a part of our chief medical advisor is a well-known pastor and philanthropist and author, and that is Dr. Avery Jackson from Detroit, Michigan. And he can tell you a few important things that he found as a brain surgeon and why he endorses Cardio Miracle for the health of not only Black Americans, but for Americans of all ages.
Thank you, John. So, as John said, I'm Avery Jackson. I'm a brain surgeon, and I hail from Detroit. And Ben Carson hails from there. He's a neurosurgeon like myself. His mom actually played the piano at my parents' wedding. Really? Yes. So as John said, the issue here is that we're not getting enough nitric oxide and vitamin D, and those are the 1-2 punch that makes the entire difference in the world, and especially in the ethnic populations. Me being an African American, I can tell you now, my vitamin D level is lower than what it should be, especially my activated vitamin D level. And that was a big issue with COVID. My mom actually died in a hospital in another state during COVID because of the fact that she wasn't treated well, but also they didn't address the issue, the low vitamin D levels, which most of us have. There's a study done from February of this year that shows that when vitamin D levels are low and people are exposed specifically to the vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine, this is a study out of Frontiers in Immunology, that they end up having heart disease or heart issues, acute heart and myocarditis and chest pain. And this is actually in a pediatric population. And it was directly related to the amount of vitamin D and bioavailable vitamin D that they had in their system. Turns out their levels were low versus when they're higher. And so the vitamin D and the nitric oxide are central to our overall health in our brain, our hearts, our livers, the entire picture, especially in the face of acute stress or trauma, whether that's psychological or whether that is a biologic warfare or whether that is your average cold or injury. And so Cardio Miracle has a blend of the finest ingredients to buffer the 1-2 punch between the nitric oxide and the vitamin D, which affects your entire body, including the cerebrovascular, so your brain health, the vessels in your brain, and also the supply of blood and oxygen to the rest of your organs. I really like this product in the diabetics. So I have patients who are diabetic that had ulcers, and they tried everything, and we gave them the Cardio Miracle, and after 2 or 3 months, one person in particular had a large ulcer, foot ulcer. It went away to the size of a pinhole. All she did was take Cardio Miracle in 2 months. We have other people who had high cholesterol levels and other issues, and in a couple of months of Cardio Miracle, they noticed blood pressure went down. We had people that had AFib. Cardio Miracle, the AFib it stopped. Now, we're not claiming that Cardio Miracle is a medication. It's a superfood. The problem is we're not getting enough food and the specific nutrients that we need, the amino acids, as John discussed, and the food that we need to really support all of our systems. And it's all processed. So I'm just ecstatic about what John has done, and he cares about people of all colors and all races and really wants the world to be better. And the goal is to get this into every home, as opposed to the vitamins that most of those don't work in terms of bioavailability. And this is a powder, and it works really well. So my daughters are on it, my teens are on it, and we have grandparents on this, and they're taking it twice a day, and it's making a difference in their lives like you wouldn't believe.
This is totally incredible. It really is totally incredible that you're...
Well, that's why we call it Cardio Miracle, is that 11 years ago when we started this company, I had reversed my own family heredity. I had a family history of heart disease. My father died at 62, uncle at 57, a cousin at 49, and I was next. And so instead of just dying, I decided to find if there's an alternative, and that's where I found the benefits of nitric oxide and vitamin D3. It's really only been the last decade that vitamin D has come to the forefront of being valuable for the immune system. And during the pandemic, one of the terrible mysteries was that when people would try to tell people they needed more vitamin D, and most people didn't even understand nitric oxide, but I, for one, wasn't sick for one day during the pandemic. And I was older, I had a family history, and I was obviously overweight. And so because of all of that, for me not to get sick one day during that 4-year period of time was remarkable. So we saw people that had elevated their vitamin D and their nitric oxide. They fared quite well through the situation. And we even found people with diminished pulmonary oxygen levels, which is why people were thrown from the emergency room to the hospital. The nitric oxide actually heals the inflammation in the pulmonary part of the lungs, and we saw people's oxygen levels go from the 70s back to the 90s and being discharged from the hospital. So unfortunately, we have to take our own health in our own hands, and that's why the research is important. So a person can go to cardiomiracle.com. They can find the product on walmart.com. They can find it on Amazon. We sell direct to the public. We have a money-back ironclad guarantee. We say take the product, take it for 60 days, do your blood work, check your periodontal work. This improves everything that has capillaries are influenced to the good by the benefits and the superfoods of the Cardio Miracle product. And we're the only nitric oxide vitamin D product that has 3 published scientific studies from all over the world with real science about real people with real results. And that's why we're excited to be today at this Newlife convention and have the chance to meet you, Peggy. We're delighted to meet you. We think this is the greatest story that needs to be told, and we want you to help us tell it. So we're very grateful for that.
Let me tell you something about my own personal experiences. You know, the African American community, we really are suffering from a lack of vitamin D. And something has to be done with that. A lot of the athletes that just died.
They dropped dead.
That dropped dead.
That's right.
You know, during COVID because they took that jab.
That's right.
They didn't have this. We need to get this information.
We've wanted to get it out. We've tried our best to do that. We have actually what we call the Black Health Initiative, where we have tried to get. We'd love you. Dr. Avery is heading that up, as well as other pastors throughout the country to try to deliver it. One of the important things is one of our published studies is on diabetes. and the impact of Cardio Miracle on diabetes. Specifically, we have pre-diabetics who are no longer pre-diabetic. We have A1C readings that go down precipitously. But people can try Cardio Miracle risk-free for 60, 90 days, do their blood work, and find out for themselves. And that's why we say we're providing the science. It tastes good. It can be mixed with any fruit. It can be made into a smoothie. We just tell people to take it away from protein because protein competes for the nitric oxide for just an hour or so. So have it before on an empty stomach. And the results have been remarkable. My wife, her vitamin D level almost tripled in less than a year. We have people who see a market increase in 60 days on this product where they may have been taking 10,000 units and barely seeing the needle move. So we're excited about what it does because we want people to have more mobility. We want them to have less inflammation. We want them to have a better intimacy life. You know, you hear about all extended lifetime and the quality of life, and in most cases, people can go off the majority of their medications, and they can reduce the number of supplements they take because we have 58 of the finest ingredients in the world.
I love it. You want to end this? I'm so excited.
Well, I just like to say I appreciate everything that John Hewlett has done for so many people. He has a huge heart, right? And that's important because you want a maker of a product who actually cares, and it's not just about making a buck. And so to go through all the work and all the iterations of Cardio Miracle that he's done to make it the finest product in the world, and especially the nitric oxide vitamin D product in the world, is really important. And the question really is, do you really care about your friends and family? Because if you do, you'll get them taking Cardio Miracle as opposed to their vitamins or their pop. Right, energy drinks. Instead, this is an energy. The beets and the other ingredients, nitric oxide in here, is absolutely amazing. So everyone should be on this, and there's a lot of science that backs that up. And so we're proud to provide this to people because we care.
One thing I'd like to have mentioned, Peggy, and have Dr. Jackson mentions, talk about Alzheimer's and dementia, which to me is the living death, not only for the person with it, but the caregivers. And so one of the things we're very concerned about is trying to prevent that. And when you think about it, it's primarily inflammation in the capillaries in the brain, a lymphatic dysfunction in the brain that causes these amyloid plaques and the inflammatory breakdown, essentially type 3 diabetes of sorts becoming Alzheimer's. And Dr. Jackson can tell you a little bit about actually the scientific paper that tells us that this product and these ingredients are probably the best deterrent that currently is available through food and nutrition for those conditions.
That's right. So there's a paper that looks at those who who've had PTSD, and in the PTSD paper, as you know, that's post-traumatic stress disorder that can come from combat, but we see it now post-COVID. Everyone has PTSD from that. Well, it affects your blood vessels. When your blood vessels constrict, then that creates less blood flow, less oxygen, especially to parts of your brain for memory. And then your sugars go up because of the cortisol release, the fight or flight phenomenon that we know about, which was first coined by Walter Cannon, by the way. And then, and so then Herbert Benson, the cardiologist, was able to take it further and to understand what we call white coat hypertension. And that's just that stress response that we face and that we've faced over the years. And so this has a major impact on cognition and on what's called the hippocampus, which is a part of your brain that will regulate and control your memory. It's very sensitive to changes in oxygenation and blood flow, right? So if you can't remember what happens, everything changes, right? You become a different person, and that's a real problem. So for good brain health, we found that with Cardio Miracle, we're able to reestablish that blood flow and oxygenation that your hippocampus and other parts of your brain needs. Makes all the difference in the world. Yeah.
So tell my audience how we can get this once again, and you have a UBC person here
Yes, glad to have you here, Peggy. Thanks so much for having this interview. You can find Cardio Miracle at cardiomiracle.com. We have a subscription program that saves people over 30% if they buy it on a regular basis. We think it'll replace 90% of the supplements most people are, in many cases, just urinating through their system. They're not bioavailable. Our science proves that these ingredients work, and you move the needle on things like your A1C, you move the needle on your cholesterol, you move the needle on your blood flow and your blood pressure and your blood oxygen levels. So cardiomiracle.com, available also on Amazon, walmart.com, and also through many, many other patriotic podcasters throughout the country. Dr. David Martin, Dr. Judy Mikovits, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, Judy Mikovits endorses Cardio Miracle as the foundational food for every person every day. Dr. Judy does that. And so we have the top people who all endorse and take Cardio Miracle, and so they can get it at a great price. It's a direct-to-the-consumer product. We try to give people, we'll say an Escalade now instead of Mercedes with buying America first, but we'll say it's the Escalade for the price of a street scooter. It's essentially
HSA,
and it's also HSA and FSA approved, so people can essentially get it at over 30% additionally off through their HSA account.
Great, and I'm good. That's it. He ends. That's the way I'd end it.
Thank you
I can summarize.
so much.
Yes.
One last plug.
One last thing, Peggy, we're trying to help America get healthy again. We're helping to sponsor the Maha movies with Robert Kennedy. Cardio Miracle is one of the sponsors. Cardio Miracle is a part of initiatives to help our veterans, to help our minorities, to help our elderly, to help citizens who want to take their health back again from the tyranny of what we've seen the last 6 years. We never want that to happen again. And Cardio Miracle was at the forefront of the fight in sponsoring and endorsing and helping fund the ministries of Judy Mikovits and David Martin and Sherry Tenpenny, Chris Northrup and Robert Scott Bell and Ty Bollinger, all of the people, Dr. Pierre Corey, Frontline Doctor, they all take and endorse Cardio Miracle as the finest supplement and health food that they know of is available in America today. We're trying to provide it to Americans at the finest price. We've improved it 8 times in 11 years and have not increased our prices in 7 years because of our commitment to try to save millions of lives and try to help America be healthy again.
On that note, thank you so much.
Great ending.